Hello and welcome to another week in the verse, where we take a look at all of the information that's come out over the past week and break it down for you. So before we go on, don't forget to comment on this and every video between now and the end of the month for your chance to win that Ursa Rover Fortuner. And without further ado, let's get going.
So first up, at the beginning of the week, we had a law post came out, and this was to do with Case Aerospace, which is a chip manufacturer which doesn't get spoken about much in the community. They didn't actually do a lot, but we'll go through a few sort of bullet points here. So it was started by a guy called Leonard Case, who helped design an ISI ship called the Starbright. Now, we've got no idea what this looks like or if we're ever going to see it. I think it might have been decommissioned at some point, or it definitely got upgraded in a sort of later year. But yeah, there's this RSI Starbright ship, which we don't know anything about, really.
Okay. Interesting.
Maybe something we'll see in the future. He then left RSI to start this Case Aerospace company. And he developed a ship called the Cosmo Sloop. Don't know much about it, other than it was a luxury ship that was kind of focused on ease of use. That's where the information sort of stops.
Yeah.
Again, maybe we'll see something in the future about this ship. Maybe we won't. Who knows?
Would be good. Would
be kind of cool. He then went on to sort of help the design of the Hurricane. At this point, the Hurricane was being developed by Case Aerospace. But then, after his death, the Anvil bought out Case Aerospace portfolio, and the Hurricane was part of that portfolio.
Okay.
Yeah, so some interesting sort of ships snippets going on there. This isn't an old law post. This is an old law post. I think it came out like last year or something originally. So it's not exactly new information, but some people who are kind of interested in law might not have heard some of this. Okay, next up we had a subscriber newsletter come out. There actually wasn't much information on this, but apart from one item, is that they're doing a RTV live audience in LA on Friday the 17th. So if any of you guys are subs and fancy sitting in the audience for a live RTV, yeah, you can buy tickets for that, I believe. I think they said it was around 40 places available, and it's first come, first serve.
Yeah, it looks like sign-ups begin, I think it's May 3rd.
Also during the week we've had some we've had 3 or 4 PTU updates now. Yeah, mostly bug fixing. They've got to be coming fairly close. I actually thought that the live release would be this weekend, but looks like it might be next weekend now.
Yeah,
they're gonna have to get it out pretty soon. Yeah, they're already a couple of weeks behind on this now.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to end up with only having kind of like a couple of months of PU time before we're back into a new patch time. So yeah,
a couple of the changes that sort of hit the PTU. These were kind of stealth changes. Well, no, one of these was a stealth change, and that's the shield numbers. They've actually buffed the shields by what appears to be about double.
Right.
Interesting way of going about this. But
yeah.
If you're experiencing some some problems in combat where you used to melt things very quickly, now you can't. Now you know why.
It's a bit weird to sort of just double it. It's extreme, but I wonder if this is an experimental thing or if this is it. This is their plan.
They're always going to play around with the numbers, and they'll go up and they'll go down and whatever. But Yeah, they're doubling the shield numbers. I didn't see any mention of this in any patch notes, so it was a bit of a stealth buff.
Yeah.
The other big update we've had is thruster heat generation has been reduced. So hopefully those computers will stop shouting at you now.
Yeah, finally. Nothing worse than that. Just every 2 seconds. Thruster's overheating.
Okay. So no ATV this week. Sad face.
Sad face indeed.
But we did get a RTV, and this one was about environment art. They covered quite a few things about. Well, it was kind of mostly picking on ArcCorp, but some other areas sort of came up. So one of the footnotes was abandoned buildings. They think they're putting sort of abandoned buildings within ArcCorp, whether it's for just if you want to kind of explore them or for mission purposes. That's something they're looking to put in. Probably won't get those soon, but who knows. Another one was rooftop gardens and large parks. A lot of people have been complaining that there's no actual green space on ArcCorp, and how could it have an atmosphere with no green space? So they sort of mentioned maybe it might be atmosphere processors, but they are looking at introducing rooftop gardens to some buildings, and maybe further down the line large parks, but they're having some problems with their sort of concept of what they want them to be like.
Yeah, I quite liked his explanation to that, which was, the reason they haven't kind of added parks yet is because they don't really have a plan for them, and so they're not really releasing anything which doesn't have some form of gameplay element behind it.
Yeah,
which is cool. That at least there's a reason for it, and it's always nice. That's why I like these RTVs, because you get a definitive reason why they're not doing stuff, which is good.
And then they addressed the graphics downgrade from what we saw at CitizenCon. And it sounds like it was mainly down to performance, which was what we thought. But it's kind of what Chris confirmed as well a couple of weeks ago. And some of it was design reasons as well. I can't remember the guy's name, but he was talking about some of the buildings were becoming a bit kind of odd. So they had to sort of rein it in a bit.
Yeah, they had some sort of strange structural designs which just didn't really work. I think they should have, when they released ArcCorp, they should have given this explanation then, and it would have just solved that whole kind of mini crisis of people going, it doesn't look the same.
Yeah.
But it's just nice to have some clarification.
And that kind of goes sort of organically into biome diversity. I'm not quite sure if that's the right word for a planet that doesn't have any sort of biomes, but different looking areas is something they're working on.
Yeah, I quite like that they've got they're trying to separate their industrial and their kind of populated areas, and I like the way you describe the suburbs as well, that they kind of roll in and then they're kind of sort of a little bit more up and down and don't look quite as uniform as what they call the populated areas. But I just hope that they can diversify a bit more in the future, so that it's not kind of, because you do see it when you're flying through ArcCorp, you kind of go, okay, this is the big building section. Oh, and there's the flat bit.
Yeah.
And there's the weird bit. Oh, and we're back into big buildings again. So it is repetitive. But I mean, you can't deny they've done a bloody good job at kind of keeping it all feeling different. So improvements will come there further down the line as they develop new things. They'll add it in, and once they've actually got the whole standard system built up, then they'll go back and see what they can play around with. Yeah.
So that also went on to the additional structures as well. They were talking about some sort of donut building that they're working on to add in to sort of break up the tall square buildings going on. Okay, so then they touched on player hubs and the possibility of organisation sort of guild halls. I don't know what you call them really. But, and how they want them to be customizable, so you can sort of dress your hab area up exactly how you want, in the colour you want, with the statues that you want, type of thing. which is going to be pretty cool. It's going to be definitely going to be a sort of bragging rights thing, if someone's got a penthouse suite versus someone who's living in the slums. But then some players might want to sort of go the roleplay route and not bother with, full-on penthouse. It's going to go. It's going to be interesting to see sort of what the options are and what they're going to be able to do with them.
Yeah, like you say, I mean, we, like for us, I think we're normally kind of, I don't know what Americans would call like blue collar. I don't know, where we would probably not be trying to rise to a penthouse. We want something probably a little bit mid-range, like some sort of a garage or something, I liked the question that he actually put where he said, and the possibility of having maybe like your own neon org sign outside, like customizable. That would be wicked. I'd love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine a big cow face just glowing.
I just thought of that, yeah.
I want it so bad.
It'd be like Avengers Tower with this laughing cow on the side of it.
Yeah. Everyone flies past and it's all like these scary symbols, and then there's just this cow crying. You're like, oh, okay.
Okay, and then they kind of ended up on the question about stations in orbit. And it was mentioned about having sort of a cargo station in orbit so that your large cargo ships would dock with this, and then you'd siphon off your cargo onto smaller vessels to go down into orbit with. And we knew that was coming, but I think they kind of went away from the question. The question being at CitizenCon, it was shown that there was like a rest stop in orbit. We'll be getting those. And I think that was kind of a different thing to what they were actually talking about. But yeah, there is going to be some kind of station in orbit at some point.
So there was a couple of things that I liked about this RTV, which was they talked to the very sort of minor possibility of underground areas in ArcCorp, and the fact that they might send missions down into like the lower depths, which I just think is cool. And then even the possibility of having places to drive, which but they never give you any like there's never anything like oh yeah, that's happening. It's more like, oh yeah, we could probably make that happen, which is awesome. And and they talked about like weather systems and seasons. And again, it was one of those things where he just went, and that's as far as I'm going. And I was like, no, I want to see snow. I want to see like, some rain. Weather systems, man, that will change this game immensely. It will give it so much more depth, which is a shame. But my takeaway from the entire thing was lots and lots of lods.
Yeah.
I've never heard anyone say lods more in my life. So I think we should all just get matching lods tattoos and go to CitizenCon.
Yeah, definitely. The weather system thing, they've mentioned that before, that it's something they're definitely doing. The question I think was about the seasons, where will we have different seasons? And the guy, I think he said something like, we'd like to get weather systems in, but I'm not saying anything else about it, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, weather systems is completely separate to seasons.
Yeah. I mean, it can rain in any season. It can snow in any season. What we want to know is, are we going to have a winter in ArcCorp?
Imagine sitting in your penthouse looking out the window and like got snow hitting the window.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Definitely. I suppose that's really going to be the only season you'll physically notice because of snow and stuff. Because if you're on Hurston or somewhere, you might notice like autumn or fall or whatever Americans call it. Where the leaves start coming off the trees and whatnot and all that kind of stuff. But interesting to see how they do it.
Yeah. Okay, so last up this week we had a March Studio update. For anyone that didn't bother reading through this, it's probably a good thing actually. Usually the information in these things is highly generalized. It says they worked on a thing and that's it. It doesn't tell you what they did with it.
Yeah.
But there was a few little nuggets in there. So first up, Apparently there is a unique Geo Deposit of, let's see if I can pronounce this right, Atacamite, I think it's called, a deposit to be mined. It's on Walla, and it's unique to that moon. Don't know what prices are for this stuff, but it might be interesting for you miners to go out and hunt this stuff down and see how it sells.
Was that the shiny that caught your eye when we were flying around?
I think it is that sort of blue-green crystal stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, see, we've got a good eye for money making.
Yeah. Okay, we also got a very brief update on the 890 jump. It's now grey box complete and going to final art. And they're also doing the tweak for the Vanguard. That's now complete in grey box and going into final art as well. They also mentioned that the character concept team have been working on the Tavaran species because we are soon to get the Prowler dropship, which is from the Tavaran race. So they're working on kind of dimensions and everything to do with the Tavaran to sort of help sizing things up in the ship and what have you.
Yeah, hopefully that's a good push towards maybe even having another race soon, because they've got to plan them out anyway, sort of thing, so you never know.
Yeah. And lastly, they are looking at doing a rework for the EMP effect. Apparently the whole system for the EMPs is starting to degrade because of the way it was coded back in the day. So they're looking at redoing the visual effects and everything to do with the EMP. So hopefully that will look a bit better. Now it's looking a bit kind of scraggy.
Yeah, it's a bit dated.
It is a bit, yeah. You get that strange bubble around your ship and then it just pops. That's it.
Yeah.
A bit sort of lackluster, really.
Okay, so that's it for this week. I hope you liked all of the stuff we talked about. It's quite interesting. RTV was quite packed, so yeah, lots of information. If you liked it, don't forget to leave us a like and subscribe for more Star Citizen stuff. And don't forget to comment, like we said, because you will be able to win that Ursa Fortuna, which is awesome. So thanks very much, everyone, for watching, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.